Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Meher Baba, everybody.
Jai Baba Ramnuri.
Jai Meher Baba, sir. Jai Meher Baba.
Jai Meher Baba. Meher Daruvala. Welcome.
Jai Baba.
Okay, time for prayer. Beloved God, help us all to love you more and more, and more and more, and still yet more, until we become worthy of union with you. And help us all to hold fast to Baba's Daman until the very end. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Jai Baba, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday evening's session. At the onset, we'd like to invite our Lord Meher Baba to please join us for this meeting, and also to please take over the entire proceedings of this meeting. Whatever is spoken has to be prompted by you, and that is how the entire show will run. Thank you, Baba. Okay. Before we start off, there are a few announcements to be made. One is we are currently running a program called Winning is Heart on Sundays. And we'd like you all to join in. This coming Sunday will be a housey program, and you may join in online. And the idea behind it all is to spend an hour thinking of him. That is the main thing, the main idea of doing all these programs. Now, I'd like to begin with a very simple and nice message from Meher Baba. एक दिन किसी ने पूछा था कि I want happiness. 3 words. I want happiness. The answer was, remove the I, remove the want, and happiness is all yours. So simple. But we fellows keep running around for more and more and more. And that is why we create all these hassles for our own selves. There is a beautiful message about this. And Baba has always said that God will give you what you need. He may not give you what you want, but जो तुम्हारी ज़रूरतें हैं, वो हमेशा खुदा देने के लिए तैयार है. The title of this message is, try your best to want less and less of what which is beyond your needs. This is addressed to the Western group that had been staying with Baba. So despite the group having been together for 4 months now, differences and petty quarrels persisted in the Nashik ashram. On the afternoon of April the 13th, how very appropriate, aaj ke din, in 1937, Baba mentioned this problem and explained the differences between need and wants. As I said this morning, quote unquote, Baba, it is time we started dying. Dying, not the ordinary death, but the death of low desires. It is all bliss everywhere, but all people are miserable because of ignorance, which forces them to fulfill their desires. Yet, the goal of each and every one is to attain the state of desirelessness. Is it clear? It is really all happiness, infinite, unfathomable bliss when you desire nothing. Let desire die, but how? You want millions of things. You say, I want this, I want that. If you were to keep an account of your wants, oh God, needs are not wants. Everything beyond need is wants. And want inevitably leads to sufferings. So try your best, your very best, to want less and less that which is beyond your needs. Sorry. Try loving and loving more and more, and then you will want less of that which is beyond your needs and want more of love. Try seriously. It will all be bliss if you do not want anything. But you must try consciously. The stone wants nothing, but wants nothing unconsciously. What we have to develop is not want things consciously. Let us begin by dying. The more you want, the more miserable you are. If you think seriously for just 5 minutes of all the things you have wanted during your life, for what you have gotten and what you did not get, and today ask yourself, if you are satisfied with life, all that you enjoyed in the past is today nil. All you have suffered today is nil. It was all an illusion. So when it is our right to be happy, why try to be unhappy by wanting things? Don't want, be happy. If you want, the wanting makes you restless. If you do not get it, you are disappointed. If you get it after having it, you do not want it, you do not enjoy it. Therefore, long and be restless for one big thing. This is very important. Long and be restless for one big thing. Long and want the one thing that will kill all the millions of other wants. Sorry. Long for the union. How clear and simple this is. Try with all your heart. Do not say yes and then not do it. Begin seriously now. You cannot love each other, all right. Give in to each other. But even this you do not do. Why? Because you are not honest. That is why I love the mad at the Rahuri ashram. They are honest in their insanity. You come from far away to love me and to realize me. But here you have turned into fighting cocks and hens. I think I will have to leave you all and go to Nepal or send you all to the Himalayas. So begin by wanting less. Try to love more. Try to have more tolerance. It is sublime happiness all around. And yet everybody is sad, miserable, and suffering. So do you all promise to begin dying? Although different men and women definitely disliked each other, each in the group promised to try to live Baba's words. Thereupon Baba cautioned, if I find disharmony and find you not prepared to die, then it is better that you all pack up and go. We have not come here for name and fame. I have so many disciples from the West. I do not need anybody. I am always alone and always will be until eternity. It is you who need me until you become me. But if you do not try, what is the use? Therefore, all should begin to try now, or seriously, I will tell you all to leave. Be honest in your trying. There must be harmony, love, and peace. Real harmony, love, and peace, not forced unless you are what I want you to be. I cannot give you what I want to. Do not keep the doors closed, pointing to the heart. Keep them open so that when I want, I can enter. Every time I intend entering, I find the doors closed, all because of useless wants. Begin dying by loving. Promise me, if you cannot love one another, how could you love those who torture you? Look how Jesus loved. He saw himself in all. See Baba within. If I say no, do you get angry? When Norina says no, think it is Baba who says no. It is all want. pride, ego satisfaction, and all wants. Someone asked, how can we differentiate between needs and wants? Some claim, I need all I want. What is the difference? Baba spelled out in reply, if you are dying of thirst in the desert, you need water, not lemonade. If you ask for water, it is your need. If you ask for barley water, it is a want. Is it clear? But if you can get good water, it is not necessary to drink muddy water to kill your desire for drinking. Drink good water, neither lemonade nor muddy water, but pure, simple water. This is from Lord Mayor, written by Bhau Kalchuri, the original publication, volume 6, page 2151 to 2153. Jai Mayor Baba. So, Mr. Nori, what are your wants and what are your desires? What are your needs?
I don't think I have any wants. I have no needs. What all I want? Only one want, that is eventually get at least a moksha.
Yet at least a what?
Moksha.
Moksha. Oh, okay.
Yeah. At least.
That is also a want.
That's all I'm saying. I have one want, which is the moksha. So, I mean,
कहीं पे बाबा ने बोला था कि even what he was trying to say is to become desireless. Even the desire to become desireless is in itself a desire.
yeah, that's right.
So
Yeah.
you have to get rid of all your desires. And when your heart is completely blank and open, he enters.
Yeah, I mean, I do talk to my brothers in every once in a while. We discuss. Baba, when we were young, when we were, very young, he wrote a letter to my mother saying that please do not worry about your children. So they are mine, so I'll take care of them. And when the Lord himself has given that assurance, so since, we have limited mind, we still have few desires here and there. But overall, if I look at it, I don't have, as many desires. So gone have those, when, I wanted to drive a Mercedes, then good senses prevail, a lot of things. So those are wants and desires. And I can also tell you, since I don't have children, so my desires have become less. Your desires, if you have children, even though you don't have any sort of desires, but you do want your children to do well. So that in itself, as you said, is a desire. So since I live by myself, what desires?
So, Piran sir, what are your wants and desires? Suit boot pen ke baith gaya hai tu.
Too many to list out just now. It will take up the whole session.
Go on. We have all the time in the world. Go ahead.
Just joking. This is something which I need to tackle on a day-to-day basis. So nothing worth discussing. Now that you have mentioned it, reduce the wants and desires. Stick to what is basic and needs. That's the message I've got.
Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
There's a young lady called Videhi. She's joined us. Can you please come on and tell us who you are, from where?
Jai Baba, my name is Vedehi Malvi and I'm from Mumbai.
Areva? Where from Mumbai?
So basically, as of now, I'm posted in Palghar district. I'm a doctor by profession. And it's all Baba's blessings. I could complete my medical education.
I've never met such a good-looking doctor.
Thank you.
So what are you specializing in? Anything?
Yeah, I've completed my MBBS from Pune and MD in community medicine from JJ Hospital.
Arey wah. So were you coming to JJ Hospital often?
Yeah, I was in JJ Hospital for around 3.5 years.
तो फिर बॉम्बे सेंटर क्यों नहीं आए?
I have come. I've been there before my MD results were out.
પછી रिजल्ट्स के बाद सटक गए. चलो ठीक है, मैं अभी आते रहना. And someday we would like you to come on and share your experiences with Baba. Just like
Yes,
today,
definitely.
there is a lady waiting in the wings. Her name is Villie Daruvala. I would like her to come on now and tell us about what all she thinks and what all has happened in her life with Meher Baba. She is a good friend of Archana Grover, and that is how we connected. She's got a lot of talents. She's into yoga, this, that, and the other. Archana tells me that she's a very talented lady. Sorry. If she takes up a project, she does it with all her mind and heart into it. She is also a cancer survivor. And that is a big, big victory as far as my knowledge goes. So without much of a fuss, Villie, all yours. Please take over.
Okay, so Jai Baba, thank you, Sam, for inviting me
Thanks,
today.
Baba.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, loud and clear.
So thank you, and I'm very happy to be here today. I never thought I would be speaking on in such a group, but anyway, that just shows how things flow. So let me begin by talking about Archana, because I had always heard a lot about Baba from Archana. And I was very impressed in the sense that, I could see a lot of change in her as well once she sort of started, once she joined this group, and she was more cheerful, and her whole demeanor was like, outlook was more positive. And I also heard how her whole family, entire family was involved, and they were all Baba lovers, including her daughter-in-law, which was very impressive because, even newcomers to the family, if they can get drawn in by something like this, it's beautiful because it's a beautiful bonding that happens then. So I told her that I would like to come to Mehrabad once with you. And that's how I took a trip. So she was going. Now, I also know Jimmy Khan because Jimmy Khan is part of the Baikala Lions Club, and my father was a part of that. So I always knew him before that. So we joined that trip, and it was in the month of July. It was during the rains. And I just enjoyed the whole thing in the sense that, when I reached Mehrabad, it was like an atmosphere of serenity, peace. And when I don't know, but whenever I looked into Baba's eyes, they're like limpid pools of love. That's all I can say. So, it's like you are just diving into something so beautiful that you don't want to come up again. And it's, you feel that whole atmosphere, that embrace of love, it makes you feel very good, that warmth. And so I noticed that when I went there. But I didn't know much about anything. I was very new. And it was so we stayed there for 3 days. So on one of the days, we went to the Samadhi Sthal, and it was a beautiful walk in the morning, going there. And then I love music. So the bhajans and kirtans and the prayers that you all said. And it was very nice. And I met you also on that trip, Sam. And there was an instant connect with you somehow also. That's how, I don't know, I'm very surprised that I'm here today on this Zoom meeting. So, yeah, you're saying something?
What was the thing?
I don't know. It was a rapport. Like, sometimes you just meet someone and you feel connected. I mean, you feel that there's some bond, kind of, you know.
I behave like a mad person at times. It's okay.
So any which way, and then it was time for the Mona Day. Now I had never experienced something like that, keeping quiet and silent. And I'm a person who talks all the time. So that was a very different experience for me. And but somehow now knowing quite a bit about what it entails, it's not just silencing your tongue, but it's also silencing the mind. But I don't think it happened on that very first day. So my mind was like moving around in all directions. But at least I got into the, the kind of mood of not speaking for the entire day, which was quite an achievement as far as I was concerned. I had never experienced that before. It was a very good feeling. And then on the trip, I met a whole lot of people, and they were all friends and friendly, and it was just a very nice experience. I loved the food at Mehrabad because I was very surprised that vegetarian food could be that tasty. And I'm just telling you, these are like very silly things, but all those experiences that I felt at that point of time. And now the thing I wanted to say was that I was already associated with the Bihar School of Yoga at that point of time. And I am a disciple of Swami Anjananand Saraswati, and he's my guru. So I was very clear in my mind that that was my main kind of, I would stick to that. But I was open to meeting other masters. And I always feel that somehow it's not just one person, a whole lot of people help you on your spiritual path once you get going. So I always somehow felt that Baba was very much a part of that. And the thing is that I used to attend the Patkar Hall, programs where there was this whole enactment of Baba's life. And I loved that. I found that very, very, very sort of, I don't know, it sort of, that also connected very well with me because the certain experiences which I kind of resonated with, and his meeting with Baba Jan, and, a whole lot of things that stand out in memory. I enjoyed those plays. I must have attended for 3 years consecutively that program, and I really found that very impactful at that point of time in my life, because I was just starting off on my own spiritual journey. And so I used to go for that. Then I've even attended the prayer meetings at the center. I've heard the book readings, and I'd read some of the books and things like that. And then once I attended a program at Archana's house where she was, all of you all were there, a whole lot of people, Baba lovers were there, and I was there. And somebody talked about writing, and that person said that after you finish writing, I am surprised that I could have written this. And that was very similar to the experience I felt, because after I had cancer, I wrote about my experiences just to help other people, other patients. And I then got into counseling. And once I wrote the book, I said, how did I manage to write this? It was exactly that kind of feeling that I couldn't have done this, myself. So that was something that I shared in that meeting. And so, the whole thing, and even now, sometimes I feel very connected in the sense now today, Sam talked about happiness, right? And being happy no matter what. And that is exactly what Swami Niranjananand also says. So sometimes, it's like just an extension of both the things. So I hear something from here and I also hear it from somewhere else. And then Archana sends me some messages which just come at the right time. It's as if like, I'm getting some guidance again from Baba, at that point of time when you read something. So it's like a kind of connect that I feel. Though, of course, as I said, I'm basically very focused on my own path, that is with the Bihar School of Yoga. I go regularly to my ashram in Munger and Vidya, and we conduct medical camps. We do a lot of things there also. But as I said, it was this whole feeling that there is some very great connection. And I'll talk about this Mauna again. So, every time Archana would every year send me that message on that day when you all observe Mauna, I think. So I used to look at it, and it was sometimes very difficult to do it for the entire day because I was working. I'm also an adjunct faculty with a management institute, so it was difficult for me to do. But just 2 years back, somehow my throat was bad, Okay, I had a very bad throat, and I got up that morning and I could speak. Okay, and I got a message from Archana saying today is Mona, and I said, my God, so like it's automatic. I'm not going to be able to speak at all, and I felt happy. I don't know, for some reason that it was just meant to be that even though I couldn't do it myself, somehow it was just happening. And after, at the end of the day, I sent a message to Archana and said, Archana, can you believe it? I did the entire, I didn't speak a word. Then I was like more conscious about the whole thing, and I just didn't speak. And that was such a beautiful feeling. It was like some kind of synchronicity, that happened. And so there are so many small things. That's one of the things that I'm mentioning. And then whenever I meet Archana, we talk about, our own experiences. So she talks about Baba and how she does so much of the writing work, and I talk about Nine, how I do the editing work in Bihar School of Yoga, and so it's like, and then we talk about whatever is common, and we have so much in common. And the funny part is, when we were in college, we never imagined that, especially me. I mean, Archana was still that she was used to sing bhajans and this and that. But I was completely different when I was in college. I was like that totally, devil may care kind of person. So I was like, so we keep telling each other that, would you ever have imagined that, we would be together on this trip, we would be together discussing this and things like that. So it's strange how life, works out. And of course, I think the major change in my life took place after my illness. That was the turning point, because up till that point of time, I took everything for granted. I never even thought about my life. I didn't know. And it was only when I sort of was confronted with cancer that I had to face the thought that maybe I would die. Maybe I would die tomorrow. So what was I, and then what had I achieved in my life? I had done nothing. I felt my life had been totally worthless. I mean, there was nothing of value that I could think back and say, oh my God, I have done this. And so I thought that, there was a lot of surgery that happened at that time in the hospital. I spent about 10 days underwent surgery. But I was so lucky. There was so much of grace involved, because I just took one leap of faith and I spoke to God and I said, I was not even with the Bihar School of Yoga, nothing. But I just had this connection with God and I said, I don't know how to handle this. So please handle this for me. And I truly left it. I stopped thinking at that point of time. And it so happened that after the surgery, they discovered that it was the very first stage. The cancer had not even penetrated the walls of the colon, and that I did not need chemotherapy. I did not need anything after that. So when I went to meet one of the specialists, the oncologist, he said, Villie, do you realize how lucky you are that if I see 1,000,000 cases, I would see one case like yours. And I was truly grateful. And that had a very big impact. So then when I thought, I said, then why did I survive? Like, I kept asking myself, then others died. There must be some purpose to my life, right? It cannot be that you are just come out of something like that and you do nothing about it. So that led to, what is my purpose in life? What do I need to do now? What is the next step? And things just started unfolding. So it was like being born again. It was one of those things where, you are one person before this, and after that, you have changed into something else. So then I started counseling, I started volunteering, I joined the NK Cancer Foundation, and then Bihar School of Yoga, I started taking a yoga program for patients in Wokhar Hospital and other places, and lots of other hospitals. And, we started doing a lot of work on that front, and I started writing and giving a lot more time to those kind of things rather than just living life and existing. That's all. So I think I'm very grateful today where I stand today. If you were to ask me what are your desires and needs and wants, I don't think I really have anything major to say besides the usual, I feel completely grateful whenever I think of what happened and what I came through. I am so full of gratitude. And I say thank you every single day to, whoever, whatever divinity is and all about. And I try to do my best. I'm not saying I'm perfect in any way, but I try to do a little better each day and, maybe just keep happy, because I suppose we are going to get these ups and downs in life. But if we can just manage to keep that inner core kind of still and silent and strong, I think we can get through a whole lot of things in life. So that is it. And of course, yes, so love for everyone. Now Baba always talks about love, and that was something, because even we talk in yoga also, they talk about bhakti and love, and it's just love for everyone. It's not love as in a one-to-one basis. It's universal love. It's love. It's more a kind of expansion of the heart, or expansion of your energy to take in everyone, like those ripples that just keep expanding and expanding and expanding, instead of living that very limited life of me, my family, my this. You just keep expanding and taking in more and more people. So when Arjuna talked to me today, and she said, "Will you speak?" I said, "My God." I said, "Yes, I'll do it, but what do I speak about?" I mean, I had no clue. And then she said that, just talk about your experience. And so I said, "Okay, let me do it. I mean, no problem." So that's how I'm here. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to share my experience. And I'm very happy. And as I said, it just happened to be Sam Patel's Zoom meeting, which was beautiful again. So yes, thank you. That's all.
Really, we are not going to let you go off so easily. Can you speak a little more and share anything that you feel like?
More in the sense that, I mean, what about any particular aspect that you want to talk about?
Anything, how God helped you, this, that.
Yeah, so, that time was a very traumatic time in my life when I was going through this illness. And I was, I tried to, without knowing anything, I tried to heal my own self, in the sense that, like now Zoroastrianism, if you know, our prayers are all about the elements of nature, like the sun and the water and, the air and things like that. So I would be lying and I was in Reach Candy Hospital. So I could see the sea, and I was right there next to the sea. So I would imagine that the waters were like healing me. I would pray to the sun to heal me, kind of thing. So I did a lot of these things, and I think the most sensible thing I did was, at that point of time, was to stop thinking, because I knew that if I went further and thought, now what is the report going to be, what is going to happen next, I would be like totally depressed. And I had to keep a very happy front because of my parents also. I thought it was so unfair that I should be looking after them at that point of time, and then instead my mother and my father were both like, so my mother was like my shadow that time in hospital. And it was like, I just felt that if I break down and if I do these things, they are going to lose hope completely. So I kept a very brave front and joked and laughed and talked, and with all the doctors and nurses, and I just kind of went through the whole thing. And it really, I don't know how, but God really made it easy for me. I don't know. When I went through it and I came back home, I said, "My God, I'm home. I don't believe this." And the day the doctor told me that, you don't need chemo, I said, "My God, I can't get better news than this." I mean, because I was always very scared about that. Not that there's any reason to be scared, because it's just another treatment, but there's so much of, what will I say, ignorance around it, that people fear that. But there's nothing to fear in that also. So, I just, so that in that respect, I was just praying. And praying what? I was not sitting with a prayer book or anything. It was just one-to-one communion with God, just saying, "Please help me." Or just saying Ashem Bo and Athavaryo. That is our very basic prayers, which I knew by heart. So that's all that I did. But when I was there, I decided that I was going to do counseling, because that was a gift that I had and I would never want to use it somehow. So, I thought, why should I be, burdened with other people's problems? But then I realized that was a very selfish attitude. So I decided that I would make myself do that. So I started doing counseling for patients. And then I decided to write about my experiences, just so that it could help someone else, to go through something similar. So I wrote about how I had done, relaxation techniques that I learned in NLP. And it's very similar to yoga nidra and things like that, which I discovered later. And then very soon I went on a trip to Iran, and that's where I met this lady from the Bihar School of Yoga. At that time, I was limping when I went to Iran, because my leg was affected, because the absorption was, bone density was affected because of the surgery, the absorption of calcium was not happening properly. So I had this pain in my leg and I was limping. And then I met this lady and she told me some pressure points and I felt much better. And then someone told me that she teaches yoga too and she was from the Bihar School of Yoga. So see, imagine in Iran this happened. So I just felt that it was a sign. And I always wanted someone to teach me yoga, but not asanas, but meditation. So I said, and anyone I would ask, they'll say, no, not meditation. I mean, we teach you asanas. So this lady said, okay, I'll teach you asanas, I'll teach you pranayama, and I'll also teach you meditation. So that was just like fabulous. Yeah. So then, and that's how I got introduced to the Bihar School of Yoga. And that's how I met my guru. And that was, meeting my guru was also something you can't imagine how it would happen. I just felt that I wanted to take mantra diksha, but I couldn't go to the ashram because at that point I was teaching in Dubai and things like that. I was traveling, so I couldn't go to the ashram. So I said, now how can I take diksha? And then suddenly we heard, and there was an announcement that Swamiji is coming to Trimbakeshwar, which is very close to Nasik, and that's how we all ran there. So we went to Trimbakeshwar, and I got my diksha at Trimbakeshwar. Can you imagine? So, and I never met Swamiji before. That was my first meeting with him. I didn't even know who he was. But I'd seen him, of course, his programs, and I'd heard him speak and things like that. And that was another fantastic experience that went through. So that was it. And now like I'm very involved with those activities and everything. Yeah. So as I said, my life has changed.
Anybody wants to ask anything before we let her off so easily? Videhi, kuch puchna hai?
Hello, Auntie. I would like to ask you one question. Not as a doctor, but as a human being, firstly. So, since you were diagnosed with cancer, I think so, colon cancer, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, see, since I have been working on myself on this path of spirituality, I have been reading our deep-seated emotions are one of the reasons which lead to changes in our body cells. And then later comes the medical part and all, which is all superficial, I would say, for us to just prolong our life. So was there any such experience in your life? Because since the topic we have started today is like our needs and wants, and somewhere when we have our wants, we have a lot of emotions into it. So
you see, I'll tell you one thing. I did not have, I was not conscious that I wanted this or that. I was quite happy with my life. It was not that, but I had a lot of resentment inside me. Resentment that I would keep suppressing and I would not let it forth. I would keep pushing it down. So outwardly, everything was beautiful in my life, but I just felt a lot of things, which were inside and which probably could have played a part in what happened to me, because that was the first thing. I had a lot of unforgiveness also inside me. So, so these things I realized how important it was to forgive people, to let go. I was not letting go of anything. All the hurt, all the anger, all the resentment was just being bottled down, bottled in. And I was not able to express anything, nor was I, able to let go. So that is what I think could have been one of the reasons, but it's also a lot of past baggage that you carry with you sometimes, So you don't even know, maybe there are things in your subconscious and unconscious levels also which work on this, which I realized only later after doing Yoga Nidra and all, because you will release so many things in Yoga Nidra which, you will not otherwise be aware of. So those are things which are very deeply buried within you. So those also play a part. So it's not just your current consciousness or current level of this that happens, but even things which you are carrying from earlier. So yes, of course, emotions, I think, yes, cancer has a lot to do with emotions. So that's how when I started doing counseling, I realized that with all my patients. And I think it's more about allowing people to express themselves. Cancer patients need to express themselves because I think they have a lot of this bottling up that they do. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Talking about this bottling up, we used to have a lady come to our center. Now she's settled in Australia, Perth. Many, many years back, she lost a grown-up son in an accident, automobile accident. And for years on end, she never got out of it. Her husband and the rest of the family accepted whatever had happened and they moved on. Whereas this lady just couldn't do that. And when she was here in Mumbai for her treatment, she once managed to see a homeopath doctor. I forget his name now, Parsi gentleman, very famous homeopathic doctor. And he was doing her case study in front of his students. And that is when he said, okay, you know, it all boils down to the fact that this lady has not come out of this grieving, and the grieving is for her son, and the son was conceived in the uterus, so she had the cancer of the uterus. ऐसे उन्होंने कुछ ये theory बताया था, and from whatever little that I've no, it was not Dr. Sarosh Wadia, Perrin. You said Sarosh Wadia. It is not Sarosh Wadia. It was someone else. He's also a very popular doctor here. Anyway, तो एक तो ये है कि you have to forgive, and after forgiving, another very important thing is to forget. We may forgive. ऐसे ही बोल देते हैं कि चल बाबा, I forgive you, this, that. But we don't forget. That bloody thing keeps lingering on in our mind. And that is where it grows. That is where it grows in a cancerous form or whatever you call it. I don't know. But forgive and forget. Baba ke ye dono, they're very powerful tools. Ek to, he had this gesture, I forgive you, you know, I forgive you, kind of. Dil se, and then he also said, "Ke bhai, you must forget. Bhul jana chahiye." Because when you keep harboring these things, like you said, you keep bottling it up, all your emotions inside, and you put up a bold front and look very happy and hee ha ha all the time. They say that in a party, when you go in to a party, it is not the ones that are sitting alone that are depressed or they are suffering some kind of grieving or whatever. It is the one who is making the most noise because he's trying to cover up all his unhappiness through that noisy things. Dilshad Kapadia, you've raised your hand. Sorry, we couldn't call you in earlier. Go ahead, Dilshad.
No, not at all, Sam uncle. Please don't say sorry. Jai Baba Villie.
Yes.
May I ask you a question?
Yes,
please?
sure.
So you mentioned about your Guruji, and so did you meet or find this path after you met came into Meher Baba's this? And since you said you talked about Diksha, so now having come into Baba's orbit, how do you see that Guru and that life vis-a-vis Baba?
Okay, so let me clarify. I was attached to the Bihar School of Yoga before I came to Mehrabad. And even when I came to Mehrabad, I was very clear in my mind that I was not going to be a regular Baba follower, right? So it was like I respect Baba a lot, and as I said, there are a lot of spiritual masters who help you on your way, but my main force is my guru, Swami Niranjananand. So that I was very clear about, and that is how I did not get totally involved with all this. In the sense that I did not visit. I've never even visited Mehrabad again. Though I want to do that one more time. I do want to go once. And I've told Archana that whenever you go now, if it's for a day trip or whatever, I would love to come. And I've been telling Jimmy, uncle also many times that I would like to go, but I've somehow not been able to make it. But yeah, so I am very clear in my mind. And I told Archana also, even after the first visit, that I'm not going to do this in a regular way because I already committed to the Bihar school, to my own guru. So I have taken Diksha from him, and it's a different, that will always be my path. So I'm very grateful to all the other masters like Baba. I do have communication with him, but it's not like that is going to be my main.
So what is the name of that guru and what is the name of that movement, if you can please?
The name of my guru is Swami Niranjananand Saraswati, and he is the head of the Bihar School of Yoga. The ashram is in Munger. It was started by Swami Satyanand Saraswati. You must have heard of Swami Satyanand. And he was the disciple of Swami Shivanand Saraswati, who was from the Divine Life Society at Rishikesh. So Swami Satyanand was his disciple, and Swami Niranjananand is Swami Satyanand's disciple. And Swami Niranjan is the current head of the Bihar School of Yoga, and he's my guru.
Thank you, Villie. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Sam Uncle.
This reminds me of a doha from Sant Kabir, where he says, Guru Govind dohu khare kake lagu paye. Balihari Guru ki jo Govind diyo dikhaye. The meaning is, there is the Guru and there is the Lord. Kiske charan chhu main? Whose charan should I cling on to? And then he goes on to say, कि बलिहारी वो गुरु की जो गोविंद दियो दिखाए. Govind is God. And in your case, Villie, I feel, this is just my feeling, I may be completely wrong. Your Guruji has put you on the Govind. And it may take you some time for it to get into our heads, but it will happen. Someone has got their video on and it's causing disturbance. Can you please switch it off?
There is a mic that is on. Godrej.
Okay, thank you. So what was I saying? Someday when, and I hope it happens, someday when you thoroughly feel convinced, yes, you have found God in this very birth of yours, in this very life, it will be an
The mic is still open. Can't hear. Can we please request Mr. Godrej to switch off the mic?
He's done it now.
Thank you, Godrej. Jai Baba. I somehow lost track of what I was trying to say. Anyway, does anyone else have anything to ask? You have a beautiful smile, Villie.
Thank you.
It's a very, what should I say, infectious smile. See, this Videhi is agreeing with me. She also is nodding in agreement and she is also smiling.
Ah,
Dilshad, you raise your hand again. Go ahead.
Yes. May I ask a question again?
yes, please.
So Willie, when you're talking about counseling, have you gone through a professional counseling course, or how do you
Yeah, yeah.
do
So
it
what
in a
I
non-
did was I joined the CPA, and they conduct a special course for counseling of cancer patients for volunteers, you know. So I did that. But more than that, that was a short duration course and it was specific to cancer. But I have not otherwise done any other long duration counseling course because I've always wanted to do it, but I've never found the time because the courses are all for 6 months and over 1 year and things like that. But I felt that, you know, my own experience was like quite useful in counseling cancer patients. Otherwise, I don't undertake any other kind of counseling. So I don't counsel, you know, regular people.
So where do you counsel just now? And
I used to go to the
Dilshad, can
NHS.
we do all these personal talks off this thing, please? You can call her up and, ask her about all these things off the chat. Dilshad? Hello?
yes, I already said sure. My bandwidth is limited, so that is where I find it difficult to.
Okay. Ram, any questions from you, sir?
No, I don't have any questions. So when
Oh,
we started with wants and desires, so I just forgot to add, I saw God with my own eyes. What else, anybody needs, so I saw Baba with my own eyes. So
that's the
that's,
most beautiful way to express it, Ram. That's the most beautiful way to express it. At this point, I'd like to narrate a small anecdote, a small story. बाबा को ये आदत थी कि दोपहर में वो बच्चों के साथ खेलते थे. He would play with small children in the ashram. और एक दिन उन्होंने सब बच्चों को बोला, this is to show or tell about keeping your heart open. दिल का दरवाजा खुला रखने को, so that the Lord may enter. This is the story that comes to my mind. बच्चों के साथ वो hide and seek खेलते थे. And of course, Baba would sometimes cheat as usual, वो बच्चों के साथ मस्ती मजाक करने के लिए. And there was always all this big, joyful atmosphere. But one day he played a very clever trick. उन्होंने क्या किया कि वो समाधि के बाजू में जो झोपड़ी है, the Baba room or whatever it's called now, just bang next to the samadhi, that yellow tin shed. I mean, not tin shed, the constructed thing. Ram, what do we call it now? Jhopri?
Baba's cabin.
Haji?
Baba's cabin.
Baba's cabin? Okay.
Yeah.
So, oh Baba, what he did was, he took one boy in his confidence. उसको बराबर पटाया, समझाया और उसको बोला कि मैं when it was their turn to hide, when it was Baba's turn to hide, उन्होंने वो बच्चे को बोला कि मैं ये कमरे में छुप जाता हूँ. What you need to do is बाहर से लैच लगा देना, बंद कर देना उसको. And only when I clap from within, मैं अंदर से जब आवाज करूंगा क्लैप करके, तभी वो दरवाजा खोलना. So then all the children started running and looking for Baba. आप किधर है? Baba, आप किधर है? There were 2-3 of those boys who came running up the steps. वहां तक आए, but they saw the darwaja shut. And they just presumed कि भाई यहाँ तो कोई नहीं होगा. So they kept searching. Finally, they got fed up and they said, Baba, आप कहाँ हैं? जल्दी आइए. So he clapped, and that boy went and opened the door and he came out. और उसके बाद ये इतनी सिंपल टर्म्स में बाबा ने सब बच्चों लोग को समझाया कि हम इंसान, we humans tend to keep our doors shut to the Lord. Come with open mind, come with open heart, and the Lord will definitely come in. We all keep saying that God resides in our hearts, but how many of us have experienced that? Abhi recently, we all celebrated Hanuman Jayanti in India. The most profound thing I found about Hanuman ji was, उन्होंने अपना वो छाती चीर के, he opens up his सिंह और अंदर राम और सीता दिखाई देते हैं. I think that is the most beautiful depiction of a lover's love towards his Lord. एक प्रेमी अपने ईश्वर, खुदा, जो भी कहो, उससे इससे बेहतर description I don't think I've seen anywhere else. And it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you are. Villie, I've also been told that you know much more about Ramayana, Mahabharata and all that, more than your friend Archana. And that is very good.
That's just Archana going over the top. No, I don't know so much.
Nahi,
I just know a little bit about everything.
nahi, but it is good because it all leads us to the final direction. You see, these are all pointers towards the final path. And once we get on to the path and Baba says, cling on to his daman. Daman means the hem of his garment, you know. In Parsi language, we call it puchru pakrine chalya karwanu, you know. So if we do that, apna life ka beda par is what I personally feel. Because God may not give us what we want, but again, you can still ask him, ask for it. Eras Jasawala used to say, कि if you consider him to be your eternal father, you can always ask. Asking में कोई ये नहीं है. मगर don't be disappointed or angry when you don't get it, because it is he who knows what is best for you. And he will always give you whatever is best for you at that particular time. So there's a saying in English, waste not, want not. So हमारे जो श्वासोश्वास है, this is how I interpret it. Our breaths are all accounted for. We have all been designated so many breaths. Let us not waste those breaths. Instead of wasting them, we save it for him. We don't want anything else but him. And the day we feel that truly, ये तो मैं ऐसे ही बोलने के लिए बोल देता हूँ. But the day you truly feel that, your lips will be sealed. And you will cry within your heart. There will not be tears rolling out of your eyes because they would have dried up by then. And it is only then that the Lord enters into our hearts. And when that happens, then there is bliss all around, all around. There is no suffering, there is no sadness, there is no all kinds of unhappy things. They will not exist. They will just not exist. So thank you very much, Villie, for joining us today. We've got a lot to learn from you. The main thing I've learned from you is your smile. And all of us together, we shall all be grateful to Baba forever. It is now time to go in for prayers and then call it a day. But before we do that, I would like to hold a minute's silence in memory of our dear Janice ke husband who passed away just last Friday. This lady, Janice, was his name Jay? Perrin?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't aware of it.
Yes. The son is Josh and
Pardon?
the husband is Jay.
I'm sorry?
Husband was Jay, Jay, and the son's name is Josh, Josh.
Yeah. Okay. So a moment's silence in memory of Jay, please. Avtar Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you, everybody. We shall now be doing the prayers and the Aarti. So please stay on and join us in our prayers from the center. Thank you.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। हे परवरदिगार, सबके राखनहार और सबकी रक्षा करने वाले, तुम्हारा कोई आदि नहीं है और न तुम्हारा कोई अंत है। तुम अद्वैत हो, तुम तुलना से परे हो और तुम्हारा पार कोई नहीं पा सकता है। तुम्हारा कोई रंग और कोई रूप नहीं है। तुम अविभाव से रहित हो और तुम गुणान्वित हो। तुम अपार हो और अगाध हो, कल्पना और धारणा से परे हो, शाश्वत और अनश्वर हो। तुम अखंडीय हो और दिव्य नेत्रों के सिवाय और किसी भी प्रकार से तुम्हें कोई नहीं देख सकता है। तुम्हारा अस्तित्व सदैव था, तुम सदैव रहते हो और तुम सदैव रहोगे। तुम सर्वत्र हो, तुम हर वस्तु में हो और तुम हर जगह से परे तथा हर वस्तु से परे भी हो। तुम आकाश में हो और पाताल में हो, तुम व्यक्त हो और अव्यक्त हो, तुम सब लोगों पर हो और समस्त लोगों से परे भी हो। तुम तीनों भुवनों में हो और तीनों भुवनों से परे भी हो। तुम अगोचर हो और स्वतंत्र हो। तुम सृष्टि के रचने वाले हो, स्वामियों के स्वामी हो, समस्त मनों और हृदयों के ज्ञाता हो। तुम सर्वशक्तिमान हो और सर्वव्यापी हो। तुम अनंत ज्ञान हो, अनंत शक्ति हो और अनंत आनंद हो। तुम ज्ञान के महासागर हो, सर्वज्ञ हो, अनंत ज्ञान रखने वाले हो। तुम भूत, वर्तमान और भविष्य के ज्ञाता हो और तुम स्वयं ज्ञान हो। तुम पूर्ण दयामय हो और सदैव परोपकारी हो। तुम आत्माओं की आत्मा हो और अनंत गुणों से संपूर्ण एक परमात्मा हो। तुम सत्य, ज्ञान और परमानंद की त्रिमूर्ति हो। तुम सत्य के मूल हो, प्रेम के महासागर हो। तुम सनातन सत्ता हो, ऊंचों में सबसे ऊंचे हो। तुम प्रभु और परमेश्वर हो। तुम पर ब्रह्म हो और परात्परी पर ब्रह्म भी हो। तुम पर ब्रह्म परमात्मा हो, अल्लाह हो, इलाही हो, यजदान हो और मस्द हो और प्रियतम ईश्वर हो। तुम्हारा नाम यजत अथा एकमात्र पूज्य है। हे असीम दया के निधि प्रभुराज, हम अपने सब पापों के लिए पश्चाताप करते हैं। हर एक विचार के लिए जो असत्य, अनुचित या गंदा था, हर एक बोले हुए शब्द के लिए जिसे बोलना हमें उचित न था, और हर एक कर्म के लिए जिसे करना हमें उचित न था। स्वार्थ से प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए तथा द्वेष प्रेरित हर एक कर्म, शब्द और विचार के लिए हम पश्चाताप करते हैं। विशेषकर हर एक कामुक विचार तथा क्रिया के लिए, ऐसे हर एक वचन के लिए जिसको हमने पूरा नहीं किया, और सभी निंदा, पाखंड, दम या लोगों के पीछे उनके दोष बताने के लिए हम अनुताप करते हैं। और खासकर दूसरों का नाश करने वाले हर एक कर्म के लिए, दूसरों को दुख देने वाले हर एक शब्द तथा कर्म के लिए तथा दूसरों पर दुख गिरने की इच्छा करने के लिए हम अनुताप करते। हे प्रभुराज, आप हम पर असीम दया करके हमारे किए हुए पापों को क्षमा कीजिए, और वैसे ही आपकी मर्जी के अनुसार विचार करने में, बोलने में तथा कार्य करने में जो हमारी असमर्थता सदा रहती आई है, उसको भी क्षमा कीजिए। यही हमारी आपसे प्रार्थना है। प्रियतम परमात्मा, हमारी ऐसी सहायता कर कि हम तुझसे अधिक का अधिक प्रेम करें, और अधिक और अधिक, और फिर भी उससे भी अधिक प्रेम करें, जब तक कि हम तुझ में मिलकर एक हो जाने के पात्र बन जाए। और तू हम सब की ऐसी सहायता कर कि हम अंत अंत तक प्रियतम बाबा का दामन दूरता से पकड़े रहे। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। बूजा।
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। बुझावे नार जहलत नी कर कुद रत्ने फरमातु छेला की आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूरे मातु अयामूर शद मेहर बाबा चरण पर तुझ न धरिए सर खुदाना जात तीवा के फथई बैठो मेहर बातू तुझे माँ लिख की कतनो तू आशे बीने आरे भी तुझे दरी याए वहदत मारे फतनो होई तूफातु अमोरे रवन ऐसा लेक बगजे ज्ञान ईजदनु के तुझ पर महात्मा ज्ञानी छने मुख तारे इरफातु खुदाना प्रेम नो प्यालो पिलावी मस्त हमने कर छे तुझ पर जान सदके सा किया पी दे पैमा तो हमारी नाव भर धरिए तरावे तो हमें तरिए हमारा ना खुदा है मेहर बाबा छे निगे बातो हमारा ना खुदा है मेहर बाबा छे निगे बातो बुझावे नार जहलतनी ये कर कुद रत्ने फरमातो छे लागी आश भक्तों ने के बख्शे नूरे मातो तार मेहर बाबा की जय।
हुआ लहर से ही है जिसकी सृष्टि का निर्माण उसकी दैवी अनंतता का कैसे हो अनुमान आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन नमो ब्रह्मा आओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनावो मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ प्रेम दीप में ही ये जलाऊ प्रेम दीप में ही ये जलाऊ निविड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊ निविड़ अंधेरा मिटता पाऊ अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊ अपना सब कुछ तुम्हें चढ़ाऊ तुम मुझको सरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ जीवन की हर सांस हमारी जीवन की हर सांस हमारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी बन जाए प्रभु गति तुम्हारी है करुणा कर लीलाधारी है करुणा कर लीलाधारी तुम करुणा बरसाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु आरती अपनाओ बने आरती जीवन मेरा, बने आरती जीवन मेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा, आदि अंत का लय हो घेरा, खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा, खुले नयन और दिखे सवेरा, तुम मुझ में छा जाओ मेहर प्रभु, आरती अपनावो मेहर प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ। आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, आदि सचेतन शांति निकेतन, नमो ब्रह्मा आओ मेहर प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ मेहर प्रभु, आरती अपनाओ। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय, अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
We shall now remain silent for a minute. Beloved Avatar, Meher Baba Ki Jai. Thank you, Baba, for everything. Thank you, Villie, for joining us today. Also, Piran, for helping us out, make the connections remotely. And thank you, everybody, for participating in this evening's program. Thank you. Jai Baba. Keep Baba with you. Jai Baba.
बात तो सारी अरे बाबा